doing tonight?
Don't say nothing trash like you recorded.
Hey, hold that.
Oh, it's classic Josiah Johnson. We know I can't say it. I could say it about your couch. What Trae Young is doing to the Knicks couch because he can. Because he can. The Knicks can get another couch because Trae Young was getting it done last night. Josiah Johnson is here. And tell me what it's like. Tell me what it's like just watching, the second time around, because last year the Knicks were good. The Knicks are actually the higher seed in that series versus Atlanta, and we thought this was a pretty good rivalry. Now Atlanta is fighting to stay in play-in position, and the Knicks looking like they're not up for the assignment. What's it like watching this in year two, Josiah?
Definitely not as exciting, but definitely Trae Young is out here just being a shining example of light-skinned excellence, coming into Madison Square Garden. It's his second home away from home. And the clip you just played, obviously from Roy Wood, even just had me in stitches this morning. But, him telling him to hold that L is the guy who exudes confidence. And hopefully the Hawks can, I think they're right around the 10th seed right now. Hopefully they can make it into the playoffs because I think the playoffs are a lot better with Trae Young and the Hawks in there.
Yeah, what story is really getting your attention, though? Whether it's the NBA or NFL, but what story is really grabbing you as just maybe your muse, inspiration, something compelling? What's getting your attention lately?
Well, I'm a big LeBron James fan. So LeBron and these Lakers, obviously, it's been a struggle this season. It's been very tough. For Lakers fans, seems like since Westbrook had that incident in Toronto with the fan who was kind of, talking out the side of his neck, once he was far enough away from Russ. Russ has kind of snapped into shape. They've won 2 of their last 3. And now they're pushing. They're the 9th seed right now. I think they could make a play for that AC, push the Clippers out the way. Just depending on scheduling and if AD comes back. But obviously out here in Los Angeles, I'm a big LeBron guy, so hoping that they can get it together and make this playoff push. Because let's just be real, if the Lakers do make it into the playoffs, nobody's really going to want to see them.
Oh, come on. Oh, please. Please. You actually believe that? You actually believe that people are afraid of this very flawed Lakers team? I mean, it's got LeBron. LeBron's great. But the rest of the team, who would be afraid of the Lakers?
If we get AD back and that ankle is at least somewhat proficient, we get Kendrick Nunn to play a game this season. Kendrick Nunn is our ace in the hole. We've been kind of keeping him away from everybody, not letting anybody get a good look, get scouting report on him. But if those guys can come back and we can get this squad just to play at least one game as close to healthy as possible, I think, the Suns fans can say whatever they want, but they know what it was last year before AD got hurt. They know what the Lakers were on the verge of doing to him. They benefited from that. Obviously, AD to the interview has said that. CP3 was hurt too. We get it. But bottom line is Lakers going to win that series if AD didn't get hurt. So I think, we're going to get the rubber match this year, and hopefully AD stays healthy and they can get it done.
Hey, but that's the problem. See, Josiah, that's the problem. If somebody else had said that, okay, fine. If you say it, I'm cool with it. Hey, if AD doesn't get hurt, it's a different series. I'm fine with you saying that. But AD always gets hurt. How's he the one to say, hey, if I don't get hurt, man, you always get hurt? So that's why I don't think anybody is really fearing the Lakers, because you can't really project a healthy Anthony Davis. You did in the bubble. Gave you a championship. It was great. Other than that, I'm not so sure.
AD's had some bad luck with injuries. We're hoping he gets his luck together. Obviously, it's March in LA. It's 80 degrees outside. Everything is kind of lining up and shaping up. So AD's going to come back. He's going to come back, play hard, going to be that piece that the Lakers need to get them over the top and get this squad back rolling.
Hey, Josiah, tell me what you think about LeBron passing Karl Malone to become the number 2 scorer in NBA history. I had some conversations about it yesterday, and I know, I'm impressed. I grew up in Akron, Ohio, so know a lot of the LeBron James reference points, a lot of the streets where he grew up, the schools that he went to, et cetera, et cetera. But the flip side, some people look at it and say, yeah, okay, number 2 scorer in NBA history, yeah, it just means you played a long time. How do you view that achievement, and is it a big deal compared to the 30-10-10 club that LeBron is in and other achievements that he's had?
Tremendous honor for LeBron. I think it's just a shining testament to his longevity and obviously him breaking the record, beating out Karl Malone, I think in like 120, 130 less games. Tells you everything you need to know. For LeBron's biggest critics, they always say he doesn't have that dog in him, that killer instinct. He's not a scorer. LeBron can do whatever he wants, whenever he wants. Obviously, he plays within the framework of the team, wants to get guys involved. But for me, being a LeBron fan, it's been tough to see this season. The 30-point games and the streaks and all that stuff is incredible. But entering year 19, 37 years old, was hopeful and optimistic that LeBron would be able to tone it down a little bit this year. Maybe only have to play 50, 60 games, not have to give it all every single night. Guys playing back-to-backs, dropping 30 pieces, doing all types of crazy stuff. And it's phenomenal to see that even at this level, he's on pace to potentially lead the league in scoring this year. Phenomenal accomplishments, but ultimately the only thing that matters, especially when you're dealing with LeBron or Jordan or Kobe and these guys in the GOAT debate, is championships and the playoffs and what you do in the postseason when it counts. So it's been great to see LeBron playing at this level and being kind of one of the few bright spots for the Lakers this season. But ultimately, we want AD to be able to carry that load. It's AD's team now. So hopefully when AD comes back, LeBron can rest a little bit and gear up for this postseason where we really need to see these 30, 40-point game explosions.
Man, I am not feeling the postseason talk from you, but that's why I love you. But that hey, listen. This stop. You need to stop that. You need to stop it. I just can't hear it. I can't hear it. But I do want to know this from you. You wear so many hats and have so many abilities. Tell me about a project or two that you're working on that you're excited about, and that we could share with the audience.
Well, just came off doing Colin in Black and White with Colin Kaepernick and Ava DuVernay and Michael Starberry, who was a showrunner on the show, a close friend of mine. So that was a tremendous project that dropped back in October. Just amazing to see the response we got. Actually worked with Ava on another project called Cherish the Day with a couple of our EPs on the Colin show, Terry Schaefer and Raynell Swilling. So that'll be coming out in the near future. I mean, I'm always grinding and hustling. Like everybody sees the Twitter and the social media, but I keep about 10 to 15 jobs. I got kids to feed, so I got to keep these bags coming in and flowing. Developing some stuff with Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson, working on a project with Anthony Edwards and Clutch that I'm super excited about, and always just staying hungry, staying on the grind, and never drinking my own Kool-Aid. People might call me the king of this or king of that. I don't ever listen to that. I just keep working, keep grinding to make sure I can get where I want to be.
I want to get a couple more questions on this, and then I'll get you out of here. You mentioned Colin Kaepernick. In the news today was that five teams are interested in Kaepernick. And I just get, I always hear these reports and I say, man, you guys could have had Colin Kaepernick 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 4 years ago. Why should I believe this story right now? What is your view of this now, 5 years after the fact of Kaepernick's protest? How do you view him as an NFL talent now?
I mean, I think if we look over the past few years, there's been a lot of guys who've gotten opportunities, and I'm not going to say that it was very warranted or say that they were better player than Cap. What's crazy to me is you got a lot of non-intelligent people out here that have always kind of had these same propaganda talking points. So Cap doesn't want to do this. He doesn't want to play. He had this opportunity, that opportunity. I've sat down with the man, looked him in his eyes and asked him straight up, do you want to play football? And the answer was a resounding yes. And I think what we're seeing now, him showing that he's down to pull up wherever and do these workouts, is just a tremendous testament to his character and his willingness and resiliency, despite the situation the past 5 going on 6 years now, where, the NFL has deliberately blackballed him and kept him out the league. He's ready to go. He's been working out nonstop. Even when we were working on the show, he was working out 5-6 times a week, trying to get back to that dream. And I think anybody who saw the show on Netflix realizes, how much Cap fought to become a quarterback. Didn't have a lot of opportunities early on in his career, only had one scholarship offer to Nevada, and was able to carve out a very, very great career. And, kind of like I said, you always have these propaganda talking points. Well, he didn't do this, he didn't do that. The guy was, one pass away from winning the Super Bowl. And I think he still can play at a high level. It's going to take a little time. Obviously, he's been out the game for now, close to 6 years. But, it's like riding a bike. Once he gets back into it, gets back in those QB rooms, gets back on the field, I think he can definitely make some noise. And when you look at him compared to some of the other quarterbacks in the league right now that are getting checks, let's be real. Cap deserves a chance. I think, this has been an ongoing conversation. I'm a Raiders fan. Cap's the only guy that'll ever get me to wear a Niners jersey. And I'm excited to see where his career ends up. And hopefully he gets another opportunity to continue his career with another NFL team in the near future.
Josiah, my final question for you really involves the project, Colin, in black and white, because you have a lot of these projects, or a story that has gotten a lot of attention, and we're consumers of news, and we're aware of things going on. We think, oh yeah, we got that. I know all of this. And then you work on a project like that, and you say, oh man, that's eye-opening, or I have a greater context now. I have greater depth on this thing that I knew, but I didn't know the extent of it. Is there a nugget or two that really applies for you on working on this project? You thought you knew something going in, you knew it, but your knowledge of it kind of just flowered once you worked on this project?
Well, I've been a Cap fan from afar, and I worked at the NFL Network for a number of years, so was familiar with the story, but actually getting to sit down, talk with him, and just hearing, a lot of people don't realize he got his scholarship to Nevada based on his performance in a basketball game. Football season that kind of ended. He was hell-bent on being a quarterback, wasn't getting those opportunities. A couple of Nevada coaches came and checked him out in the basketball game. He did work in that game, and we actually showed that scene, in the show. But he ended up getting that opportunity based off of that basketball game. But also just knowing Colin, growing up in Turlock, California. I'm from LA. People hear California and they think it's all this just big blue state. But there's definitely pockets throughout California where you look like ourselves, you're going to be a little nervous driving through. So, knowing Colin, he said that he lived like 5 minutes away from the Grand Wizard of the Clan of the local area, just things like that. And his experiences being this standout athlete, but also dealing with the other side of it, obviously being adopted by two white parents and growing up in that situation, and just the things and factors that he dealt with growing up that, for me, I'll never be able to understand or experience. But him, when he'd go to places with his parents, and he loved his parents, and to see how he's treated and just how people looked at him, but also knowing that, through his athletic ability and athletic prowess, he was able to overcome a lot of that stuff. So Cap, for me, it's crazy when I see people talk about him who don't know anything about him. They speak on the subject. It's a little bit ridiculous at this point. I think it's extremely insulting, because anybody who's actually got to spend some time with Colin and just, talk to him, look in the eyes, man, he's a funny dude. He's a great human being. And like I said, I'm very excited for him to be able to continue his football career in the NFL at some point in the near future.
All right, Josiah, great talking with you, man. And I'm going to say this. Look, I will admit a mistake. So if your Lakers are able to make a run, and if they get the 8th seed or 7th seed, it's possible. If they do that, they win that's a lot of ifs. See, this is my problem. That's a lot of ifs. If the Lakers get to the 7 or 8 seed, if they win in the first round, if Anthony Davis comes back, then come back on, and I will give you the floor, and you just go ahead and say whatever you want to say. I hope it happens, but it probably won't.
I need a good 60 to 90 seconds. That's all I'm gonna need. It's not just you. We got to address a lot of human beings out there. We've seen all the slander. We've seen people talking out the side of their neck about the Lakers, LeBron, and Westbrook, and the rest of the crew. But I promise you, I will be back on here to remind y'all and let y'all know what it is.
And if it doesn't happen, you still can come back on. You still come back.
If it don't happen, just pretend like I didn't say any of that. Delete the tape. Delete the tape. Didn't happen. Disappearance did happen.
That's all right. We can do that. We can make things disappear. Hey, Josiah, always great talking with you, man. Thanks for taking the time.
I appreciate you for having me.
Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.